What's going on, WNBA fans and Chicago Sky fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Sky Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Sky related. On today's episode, we'll be doing our WNBA Power Rankings watch. We'll also talk about Diana Taurasi, her missing the rest of the 2022 season and what that may mean for the Phoenix Mercury. We'll also talk about Candace Parker being the inaugural member of a very exclusive club when it comes to stats and passing 600 career blocks. And then lastly, we'll be going over what's currently going on with the Chicago Sky in their last game against the Connecticut Sun. All that and more on today, Chicago Sky Central.
Welcome to Chicago Sky Central, and here's your host, Haize.
All right, Sky fans. So first up, we got to talk about it. You know what I like to do on every Monday episode. We got to break down the WNBA Power Ranking. So of course, our Chicago Sky are back in the number one spot, reclaiming that after being down a week at number 2. Las Vegas Aces number 2 there. Connecticut Sun number 3, who we did beat twice. And then also the Seattle Storm number 4, and the Washington Mystics rounding out the top 5 there with number 5. And the Dallas Wings. Dallas Wings are coming on at the right time in the WNBA season. And right now, being number 6 in the power rankings, followed by the Mercury at number 7, Atlanta Dream number 8, the Minnesota Lynx at number 7, and the New York Liberty at number 10. And we'll talk about how the WNBA playoff rankings are sitting right now and those standings. We'll go over those towards the end of that before we talk about the Chicago Sky's last game. But let's move on. Diana Taurasi, unfortunately, is going to miss the rest of the WNBA season, which isn't very many games left, but she's going to miss the playoffs as well, as she unfortunately has a quad injury that's pretty significant that's going to keep her out. So unfortunately, they're going to miss that. And so the Mercury, who have a half-game lead right now on the New York Liberty, who are still fighting for that, a 1-game over the Minnesota Lynx and the Los Angeles Sparks. So we'll see how that shakes out, if that does affect the playoff race any at all. But Skylar Diggins, who's already been playing at an MVP level, can't be asked to really do much more than what she's already doing. So the absence of Diana Taurasi is going to be huge to see how they overcome that and what they do in the playoffs and if they make any noise there. So we'll continue to watch how that goes. Now, let's get into more positive news, and this one is affecting our player, Candace Parker, who in the last game reached 600 career blocks. She's the 5th player in WNBA history to do it, matching Margot Didek, Lisa Leslie, Brittany Griner, and Sylvia Fowles, all at that 600 career block mark, and shout out to her for making that. Now, with this being said, she is now the inaugural member of the 6,000 points, 5,000 rebounds, 1,500 assists, and 600 blocks club. She's the only player in WNBA history in the top 10 all-time in all 4 categories. Huge. Shout out to Candace Parker. Her coming to Chicago, coming back home, what that meant for the team. And it's great to have a player that's going to, a surefire Hall of Famer, be on this team to just help make this team what it is and be a big part of the motor that does this and setting the culture really here in Chicago. Bringing in a player like Candace Parker changes your culture. Same way bringing in DeMar DeRozan helps solidify the change of culture in the Chicago Bulls. But let's focus on the Sky here. Bringing in Candace Parker is going to pay dividends not only for the time she's been here so far, but the players around and everything else going on as they continue to grow, as they continue to develop. They're going to always remember what it was like to play with a player like Candace Parker, to take in some of her work ethic and everything like that. And it's been great to have her here for the Chicago Sky. And we'll see how much longer we do have her. Hopefully she's not ready to hang it up quite yet. We'll see what the Chicago Sky do in the playoffs. But as we're talking about the playoffs, let's get into the playoff rankings right now. We already know our Chicago Sky number 1, followed by the Aces at number 2, the Connecticut Sun number 4, and the Seattle Storm the Connecticut Sun at number 3, Seattle Storm at number 4, Washington Mystics at number 5, Dallas Wings at number 6, Atlanta Dream at number 7, and finally the Phoenix Mercury, who just lost Diana Taurasi, at number 8. Now, they are only a half game above the New York Liberty as everything stands right now. The New York Liberty, who've been playing a little bit better as of late, fighting for the last playoff spots, not too far away from either the Lynx or the Los Angeles Sparks at all, who could very well, with only a few games left, do enough if the Mercury do drop for one of those teams to have their playoff hopes still be aware. Now, the Indiana Fever, the only team that are completely eliminated from playoff contention right now. They only won 5 games so far this year at 5-29, so they are eliminated out that contention. But one of the things about the WNBA and that makes this sport interesting is because there are only 12 teams in the league, is that the playoff race gets very interesting around this time of the season because it's so little margin for error for some teams at the bottom of the standings as they look towards the end of the season. So we'll see how that goes, how this playoff race gets interesting towards the end of the season. The Chicago Sky only have 3 games left this season. So we're winding down, getting ready for those playoffs, and it's going to be an interesting race at that for the teams at the bottom of the standings. But now we got to talk about our Chicago Sky, who beat the Connecticut Sun once again, this time 94-91. Now, this is after the last time we played them. We had an overtime victory and beat them 95-92. So, this was a fun game. Again, this was a playoff atmosphere game. As I've said, almost every game for the rest of the season for the Sky are going to definitely be a playoff atmosphere type game. But the Sky who came out to a big lead early in this game, winning the first quarter 31-14, then losing the second quarter 32-19 themselves. I'm sorry, they won the first quarter 14-31, and then they lost the second quarter 32-19, lost the third quarter as well 21-19, came back, won the fourth quarter 25-24 to seal that victory. But the Chicago Sky can continue to play with fire at times. Like we said, there are times where it seems like their intensity drops some, and when you're playing a team like the Connecticut Sun, they're going to come in and be able to take a huge advantage of that. But luckily, the Sky were able to still pull this one out. Every starter in double digits in this game for the Chicago Sky. Candace Parker with 18 points, 12 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal, and 2 blocks, filling that stat sheet. Courtney Vandersloot in this one, 20 points in this one, 5 assists, 4 steals. She hit 2 key 3-pointers down the stretch of this game as well, playing huge. Emma Mieseman with 15 points, Quigley with 15 points, and then Kalia Copper in this game with only 11 points. She was 1 for 5 from the 3-point range. The shot not dropping for her, but 5 for 10 overall in the field from this one. Azura Stevens as well, chipping in 9 points off the bench. Rebecca Gardner and Julie Alleman are only other bench players to get in this game as well. Chicago Sky in this one, they shoot 56% overall from the field and 38.5% from 3-point range to win this game, a game that they could have definitely lost and seemed like they may down the stretch. The Connecticut Sun did tie this game at one point, but the Chicago Sky going on, well, they had the lead, but Chicago Sky going on, I think, like a 15-4 run at one point in the fourth quarter to really nail that home. And then, Kalia Copper in this game as well, she did hit a big 3 down the stretch after missing one. Kind of the next 1 or 2 possessions after that, coming in and hitting a big 3 for the Chicago Sky. But this is a game that this is what the playoffs are going to be like. And this dates back to the playoff series against these two teams last season. Every time these two teams play, it gets very, very interesting. And so, DeWanna Bonner in this game, going at Kalia Copper, there were times where those two were just jaw-jacking. They both hit each other in the face at one point in time as well with elbows. It just was one of those games where you're just watching, and you're reminded that these ladies still get physical. They get physical as hell. Alyssa Thomas as well in this game, playing very well, chipping in 16 points as well. And Jaquel Jones having 17 points in this game. The Connecticut Sun came to play. They even got 28 points off the bench, completely killing what we were able to get off the bench. But the depth of the Chicago Sky comes to fruition once again, helping them seal this victory in a game that they could have very well lost, a game that it felt like they were going to lose as well, that the Connecticut Sun just cut some momentum, and it didn't seem like the Sky can come back. The Sky went in to that second quarter with a big lead, coming out the half, it being a close game, and then that third quarter, the Chicago Sky in third quarters, that is going to be something that worries me in the playoffs a little bit when it comes to this team. But 3 games left for the Chicago Sky to wrap this season up and to get ready to head into next season. How does this season end for the Chicago Sky? We have the Seattle Storm coming up tomorrow, August 9th, and then we got the Aces on Thursday, and then we got the Phoenix Mercury. The Phoenix Mercury on Sunday to end the regular season, and then we're jumping right into the playoffs. We are going right in, and it's going to be a very interesting playoffs. I can't wait to see what this team does in the playoffs. I'm going to try to get live streams after playoff games. Hopefully they're televised very well as well, so everyone can take part. This has been a fun season. It's been a fun start to me starting the show and getting so many what I'm thinking about on my 15th episode so far. It's been fun. It's been a lot of fun, but I can't wait for the playoffs to see what this team does in there. Going to have some tight, close games, some physical games, because that's how the Chicago Sky play. Let me know down below, what did you think about this game against the Connecticut Sun? Seems like the Chicago Sky just have their number. Just no matter how it looks during games, it just seems like they cannot get over the hump to beat the Chicago Sky. But that is it for me for today. Make sure you're following the show at Chicago Sky Pod on every social media platform. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, ChicagoSkyCentral@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text and or voicemail number to do so, 773-270-2799. Thank you for joining. Thank you for being the best part of the show. I love you guys. Peace out.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.